I am Dr. Satish Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Geology, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. Today I want to discuss some issues regarding major causes for the groundwater depletion. First of all, we must have to know that what amount of water is available with us. If we see the world, we have 1.4 billion cubic kilometer of water available, and only 3% of it is fresh water. And if we talk about the India is having 4,000 billion cubic meter of water available annually, and among them much amount of water that goes to the oceans or sea, and 447 cubic meter of groundwater is annually available with us in India, and among it 36 to 34% of water that goes as a discharge, that goes as a groundwater flow to the oceans or the downslope. So we have that much amount of water only, the groundwater, and it is very precious because India is having such a terrain. There are Himalayas, there are the Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, and the Deccan Plateau and Indo-Gangetic alluvial plain. So due to that, there is a heterogeneity in the groundwater occurrence in different part of India. And if we see the total figure, that we have the 447 cubic meter of the groundwater available annually, but we have the annual discharge of 230 cubic meter annually, and major amount of water, groundwater, that is being withdrawn only being used for the agriculture purposes, and 18% of 18 cubic meter of groundwater that is being withdrawn is being used for the domestic purpose and industrial and other purposes. And it has been noticed by the Central Groundwater Board and other agencies that we have 122 approximately cubic meter of groundwater depletion every year. So it is a major cause of worry. And if we see about the causes, what can be the causes? There can be the primarily, if we broadly see, there can be the climatical factors, and other factor can be the utilization, how we are utilizing the groundwater. Climatical issues, if we see, we have the source of water, that is by the precipitation that we receive mainly in the monsoon season, and that monsoon is the southwestern monsoon. And the southwestern monsoon, when it enters into the land part, then maximum of the precipitation that is being received in the Western Ghat. Okay, after that it goes weaken, and when it reaches its cover all the India, then if we compare the total precipitation, that we found that on the northern part very less amount of precipitation is being received annually, but in the Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat, or in the eastern region, the more amount of precipitation is there. But that more amount of precipitation doesn't mean that they have very good recharge. If we talk about the terrain, they have the Deccan, Western Ghat, Eastern Ghats, so their water availability is less because maximum of the water is going out by the discharge, and there is less discharge because of its geology. And Indo-Gangetic alluvial plain, that is such terrain which is having the very favorable condition for the groundwater occurrences and groundwater recharge. But that amount of water, and mainly because it is the Indo-Gangetic alluvial plain that is having much potential, because of that it is having the higher stress because of the more agriculture practices are being going on in that terrain. So in that part particular, withdrawal of groundwater is more with respect to the recharge. So this can be the one of the climatical factor, that available of water that is being received annually, this is less and withdrawal is more. Okay, that is one cause. And another cause, how we are utilizing, like we are utilizing it for the maximum of the groundwater is being utilized for the agriculture purposes. The right crop pattern if we are using, that we can save the water. But if we see the Punjab and Haryana particular region, they are more focusing on the paddy crops and it require more amount of water. So it means if we can change the pattern of the crops, then we can be in the position that less amount of water will be required for the agriculture purposes. And again, if we talk about the domestic or the industrial purposes, particularly domestic purposes, if you found there is a scarcity like in the Rajasthan region, the people take the water and they utilize it very consciously. But where the water is available, we can found that many of the pipelines they are leaking, many of the taps they are just open and water is flowing there. And also some of the people, they used to in the habit that if they have the water, then they just can wash their cars daily, they can clean their floor daily by just washing that. So this kind of utilization of water in the domestic as well, we are wasting the water, precious groundwater we are wasting. So for that there are the many government plans are there, Jal Shakti Mission, Atal Bhujal Yojana, many of the planning are there. But if we can aware the people, it is the most important thing, that how we are utilizing and how we can save the water. That can be one of the possibility. Another part is groundwater recharge. If we talk about the depletion, there can be the solution of by the groundwater recharge. But again, we are having the problem. Some of the groundwater recharge system are good, but many of the groundwater recharge system are unfunctional because they are being installed in a wrong way. Many of the areas, domestic areas particularly, they are having the condition that the people have to install the groundwater recharge system, but they doesn't follow the guidelines as per the IS codes. They just made a pit and they directly disposing the precipitated water directly to the groundwater. Okay, and it must be having the filters, but hardly a very few people those are aware they are being installed the groundwater recharge system with the proper filters. And similarly some other way of recharging, like some of the commercial buildings or commercial residential areas, or they are having the groundwater recharge system, but what they have done, they have jointed all the surface area with that recharge structure, and with that there are the vehicles, they are traveling here and there, and they used to go there and dust along with other pollutants like the hydrocarbon mixtures, they can also go with the water. So such kind of recharge system, they are not increasing or not benefiting the society by recharging the groundwater, although they may be having the adverse effect in the long term, because the polluting water which is going inside, it is not at only that site where it is being recharged. Groundwater is flowing, the pollutants are flowing through the groundwater. So it means we are not even depleting the groundwater, also we are contaminating the groundwater. So we first learn the practice that how we can save the groundwater and how we can recharge the groundwater in the optimal level. Thank you.